everyone, and welcome back to Simply Renee. My name is Renee, and I just want to say thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, clicking the notification bell to my channel. I truly appreciate it as it helps me to grow. I also want to say thank you so much for the reactions to my previous videos. I truly appreciate that as it helps me to see what content you like, what more I can put out, but also understand what you're looking for, as well as getting some constructive criticism because that helps me to improve even more. But I nonetheless appreciate everyone who has responded to my last video on the ways I'm trying to save money this summer. So far, the staying in method has worked. I'm not going out too much, I'm eating in, and it's going well so far. Of course, I'm probably going to go out a little bit here and there. I have plans actually to go to a walking tour next Saturday, which is only about 15 minutes away from my house, which is good. So that way, it's a nice, easy, simple drive. It didn't cost me that much, only about $10. So I'm very happy about that. But I want to thank you again so much for watching that video. I look forward to bringing you more content, whether that's my Sunday read section, my Food Friday videos, and my random Wednesday videos, whether it's day in the life, week in the life, or even some financial tips and more. Today, though, I wanted to talk about why it is that I like my 9 to 5. And over the last several years, I've been seeing a lot of people make comments about their 9 to 5, why they like it, why they don't like it, a lot of the burnout. And a good, valid reasons for that is, of course, the burnout, long commutes, an unhealthy work environment, wanting to find more work-life balance. And I can truly understand that. But for me, myself, from my own perspective, the 9 to 5 works. Now, I was in a lot of different jobs that had erratic schedules in the past, and sometimes it would be a 9 to 5, then other times it would be a 10 to 6 or an 8 to 4, depending on which position I was in, because I previously worked in the museum business, and as a result, I was always having a little bit of a erratic schedule or a more predictable, stable schedule. And of that, I would work, of course, a weekend or two once in a blue moon, of course, especially a mandatory weekend every weekend as well. And the museum's business can be very different depending on your position. For me, I was a tour guide, and therefore I was working sometimes an 11 to 6 or a 10 to 6 or even an 11 to 7 because the work schedule was a little bit erratic. I've been in restaurant work, of course, where the schedules can be very erratic or they can be flexible, but they can take a long time. Sometimes you're working 12-hour days. I've done that before. And sometimes you're working just a normal 8-hour day, and it could be anything from maybe a 7 to a 3, an 8 to a 4, sometimes 9 to 5, 11 to 6. Or if you're working at night, it can be anywhere from a 4 to midnight, whichever that can be. And as a result, does create that whole imbalance of a work-life imbalance, and it can overtake you entirely. So having this 9 to 5 work life in the office is very good for me. It's stable, it's predictable. The current position I have isn't as erratic or changing every time. So it actually works very well for me to have this 9 to 5 work-life balance for myself and be able to manage it properly along with the other things I'm doing outside of it, whether that's YouTube, reading, going out to different places, helping with my mother when she needs things, spending time with my family and friends. So it does work pretty well, the work-life balance. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with my position, I am an administrative at a nonprofit. I don't show any workday in the lives only because YouTube rules and regulations at my job prevent me from doing so, which I completely understand. And as a result, I keep that completely private. But if you're curious to know a little bit about the duties of an administrative assistant, at least in my job, I did make a video last year, which is much just an overview of everything. So if you'd like to see that, I'll leave a link in the description below. But the reason why the 9 to 5 works for me is just the predictability, the stability. It gives me a good work-life balance. I have, of course, had some times of burnout. Last fall, I did have quite a lot of burnout where everything was just so overwhelming. I managed to get all my tasks and deadlines done, but I really needed to just take a weekend for myself. And I did so by just relaxing, reading, watching a movie, maybe a TV show as well. I kind of mixed it up a little bit during the weekend. And I also had that weekend just going out to get a coffee for myself. Although I only do it once a week, I might do it twice a week if I feel up for it and I just want to have a little rest and relaxation. So for me, that was quite helpful. There's also a reason why the 9 to 5 works for me is that I do like my job. My position is very good. I like working for the company. It's a very stable, healthy environment, thankfully. And there are some people who don't like their 9 to 5s or their jobs in general because unfortunately they have an unhealthy work environment, which I can truly understand. The unhealthy work environment is why a lot of people end up leaving their jobs. I was about 10 years ago in an unhealthy work environment, so I found another job, left on amicable good terms, and then moved forward with my life and they moved forward with theirs. And that's the way you always want to try and do it as much as possible with any job that you leave. There are others who do find work life imbalance because for me, I'm not married, I have no children, but other people do have marriages and children, and so they struggle to find that work life balance, or they find a way to manage to do so even with a 9 to 5 job and different types of work schedules as well. My brother is an engineer, he has a 4-year-old son, his wife's an optometrist, and so they have a lot to do with trying to find work life balance as much as possible. And it was tricky for them in the beginning, but they managed to do it pretty well. But any of their free time after work is spent just, relaxing with themselves, but also being there for their son who's 4 years old. He just started karate, so they're busy with his activities there, as well as school activities. The summer vacation is upon us, so they're going to have to figure out different ways to do that. So it's all about trying to find the balance for them because they're married, but also are parents to a child. And then the 9 to 5 is also a challenge for some because they don't really like the schedule. Some of them prefer an 8 a.m. to a 4 p.m. Some actually like the 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Some like the night shift or the overnight shift, or they like the early morning shift. So sometimes the scheduling can be the main problem and why the 9 to 5 doesn't work for them. So this is all just very different, various reasons, and I can understand why some people don't like the 9 to 5. But for me, myself, as an office worker, I do like the 9 to 5. It's nice to be in a position where I can have that work-life balance, that good schedule that is predictable and yet stable and what I like. And thankfully, it's a healthy environment. So it's very good for me. And this is why I like the 9 to 5. It doesn't work for everyone, of course. It's all up to everyone else to decide for themselves what works best for them. But for me, the 9 to 5 works well. I'm very happy to be in this position, that it's a good environment, that it's enables me to really do as much as I can for myself outside of work, keep a healthy income coming in to keep the roof over my head, the food on the table, and I'm very happy and content with that. So that's just how I feel. Now let me know how you feel. Do you have a 9 to 5 that you like or don't like? What do you do to prevent burnout for yourself? Is there other ways that we can find work-life balance no matter the schedule? Let me know in the comments below. I welcome all discussions as always. Editor Renee here. I just want to let everyone know too that I have started a second job way back in March, and that second job is more of a remote job. So I do a little bit of work in the morning. Sometimes I do it a little bit at night as well, just to keep the balance going. So that has taken a little bit of divergence from the 9 to 5, but it works out pretty well. It's a little extra money coming in. I can do it remotely. So after I've relaxed at night, I can switch over and do my remote work, which is just some basic administrative freelance work that I do. And I can also do some early in the morning. I'm getting up at 5:30 a.m. now instead of 5 o'clock. I felt that the 5:30 a.m. worked a little bit better. So I managed to find that balance there. So I do a little bit when I get up in the morning and I'm all set to go. So there is a little bit of a change in that, but it hasn't really caused me any burnout, thankfully. And I'm very grateful to have that second job that puts a little bit of extra money in my pocket. And I'm thankful that that job and my 9 to 5 do give me that work-life balance. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, this is just a random chat video that I've done, but on Wednesdays, I always do different type of random video. Sometimes I'll do a financial tip. Sometimes I'll talk a little bit about my interests. Sometimes it's about day in the life, weekend in the life, which I'm planning to do a little bit more on. And sometimes it's by a recent trip that I've been to. I'm looking forward to telling you all about that walking tour I'm about to go on. And then on Fridays, I do a food video, whether it's recipes, what I eat in a day, what I eat in a week. And then on Sundays, I do a Sunday Reads video where I just talk about double book reviews as well as some topics, what I'm reading, recommendations as well. And I do random shorts throughout the week. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you again so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell. I'll be back on Friday with a food video. I'll be putting more shorts out during the week. And I'll also be back on Sunday with a Sunday Reads video and next Wednesday with another video. I thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.